We just received some major updates surrounding the cornerback market for the Philadelphia Eagles as an ESPN Insider linked three players in particular that will help tremendously to a thin cornerback room outside of DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. We'll break down all of this and more on another edition of Eagles Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles as the Eagles are getting ready for this trade deadline. We'll have all the coverage here on Eagles Digest. But before we get into this video, if you guys are a part of the 96.6% who aren't subscribed to this channel, you guys better hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Eagles cornerback market and what you guys think that the Eagles should acquire at the trade deadline. But getting right into this video, as we are talking about the trade deadline for the Philadelphia Eagles, as the trade deadline is at November 4th at 4 p.m., and Howie Roseman is going to make some moves, and it is definitely going to be one of the biggest trade deadlines in recent Eagles history. The Eagles are coming off of their Super Bowl win against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are looking to go back to the Super Bowl and really put their stamp on the NFL as a NFL powerhouse. And the two positions that really we want to talk about is edge rusher and cornerback. And looking at the post that we sent out yesterday, with BG coming back to the Eagles, what defensive player do you want Howie Roseman to trade for? 54% of you guys voted for Denzel Ward as the trade target. 18% said Jermaine Johnson, 20% say Trey Hendrickson, and 8% said Tariq Woolen. And this is definitely something where we all really want Denzel Ward to be a Philadelphia Eagle. It's definitely going to be interesting if Howie Roseman can make that big swing at the deadline to make a sure thing at the CB2 spot. But just talking a little bit more on the cornerback position, wanted to bring this up to you guys as ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Matt Bowen released a article regarding the Eagles trade targets, especially at the cornerback position, and three corners in particular, I will be talking about in this video. The first one that we'll talk about is Michael Carter II. And this guy is someone who had a lot of potential coming out of the draft. He really showed why he was one of the best nickel corners in 2023. But since then, he has kind of fallen off a cliff, especially with the Jets defense, as they have just underperformed as the years went on. And, this guy is more of a slot corner, a nickel corner that the Jets have put in big positions. And I feel like if the Eagles are able to get someone like Michael Carter, they would most likely put Cooper DeJean on the boundary and Carter would be in the nickel spot. The one thing about Carter, he's not a great tackler and he's more of a liability on the run. So he definitely is someone that the Eagles would take in as a change of scenery type of corner. He would go with Vic Fangio, more of an aggressive defensive coordinator who preaches on physicality. Maybe a different scheme, a different location would really help Michael Carter out. And just talking about Michael Carter a little bit, this was Matt Bowen talking about the trade target for the Philadelphia Eagles, saying the splash plays are missing from Carter's tape, but he has the play strength and competitiveness to operate in the slot. A willing run defender, Carter can cut off the ball on the edges, and he has the foot quickness to match/carry in space. Playing in his fifth pro season, Carter has 2 interceptions and 21 pass breakups over his career. So, a guy who definitely has the experience to back it up. I know when you're looking at that overall grade of a 41.7, that really screams, why are you talking about this guy? But I definitely think that if the Eagles are not looking to upgrade on the boundary and they think that they have Cooper DeJean developing on the boundary as he did well with Justin Jefferson when he did that pass breakup against the Vikings, they might go with a guy like Michael Carter to be in the slot and work out of the slot and have Cooper DeJean on the boundary. So definitely an intriguing prospect for the Eagles to target at the deadline. But just looking at another guy regarding the Philadelphia Eagles is Cam Taylor-Britt. And when you're looking at Cam Taylor-Britt's tape, he has been able to be really successful with the Cincinnati Bengals in years past, but he really isn't fitting with the Bengals defensive scheme and the Bengals locker room. He's more of more undisciplined as the season has went on. He was benched against the Steelers on Thursday Night Football this past week, and Zach Taylor said that he finds better guys in his locker room than Cam Taylor-Britt. So the thing about Cam Taylor-Britt, he has shut down boundary potential, but he definitely has a lot of undisciplined moments on and off the field. And, there's definitely going to be some things with Cam Taylor-Britt that you're just going to have to accept with his character. But I know Vic Fangio doesn't really like someone with a lot of outside noise, and it can really affect the locker room, especially in a city of Philadelphia. But looking a little bit more on Cam Taylor-Britt, this was Jeremy Fowler talking about Taylor-Britt's explosibility, saying Taylor-Britt is only 26 years old and he has the traits that might entice some teams. He can match vertically and man coverage due to his long speed, but I see a better fit in zone-heavy defenses. Taylor-Britt had 7 interceptions and 15 pass breakups from 2023 to 2024. And Vic Fangio likes to play a lot of scheme. He does play man at times, but he is more of a bend, don't break type of defense. So Cam Taylor-Britt could definitely be very enticing for this Philadelphia Eagles team because he has done well in those types of schemes. So Cam Taylor-Britt, he plays in more of a 4-2-5 type of scheme that runs a little bit more of a man coverage. But when you're looking at the 3-4 defense, it is going to play more zone coverage. So definitely think Cam Taylor-Britt, know that he doesn't have the best type of grade this season, but as I've mentioned with Michael Carter, a change of scenery, know that you're on a championship level defense, knowing that you get another opportunity, especially in Philadelphia, it can definitely help out a guy like Cam Taylor-Britt to really shine and really play on the ball, as we've seen as he gotten a lot of interceptions from 2023 to 2024. And just, looking at another guy that I really wanted to talk about was Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen is one of the, most intriguing guys from all of these 3 guys that Jeremy Fowler has mentioned. When we look at Michael Carter, he's more of a slot guy. Cam Taylor-Britt, he does play on the boundary and he has interception potential, but he definitely has the locker room issues that I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are wanting to go after. But with Tariq Woolen, he's the one that I'd be most interested in because he was one of the best corners coming out of college and really showed why he was so good with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, people were thinking that it was the resurgence of the Legion of Boom, and Tariq Woolen was a part of that. Obviously, Seattle has underperformed since then, but they are definitely looking to move Tariq Woolen to another team, trying to get a little bit better at that cornerback spot. And I think just looking at what he is as a player, he's 6'4", 205 pounds. The tallest corner that we have on our team is 6'2" in Keely Ringo. So you have 2 more inches on that height and someone who can just play with any sort of receiver, whether it be he's 6'2", 6'1", like he will overmatch him with his height. So he's very tall, he's very physical, and he would dominate on the boundary. I think so far this season, his coverage has gotten better over the season. He had a great game against Houston with a 69.8 rating on PFF. The thing that really jumps out to me is that he is so good against the run defense. And the Eagles have struggled on the run defense, especially on the perimeters. It was, as we saw Jordan Mason do really well on the perimeters. So having a guy like Tariq Woolen, he can go in there and help, especially on the run defensive category. And it can fit multiple things. Do well on the boundary, do well on run defense, and just improve on tackling. And looking a little bit more on Tariq Woolen and his abilities so far in his career, saying from Jeremy Fowler, saying multiple league execs have Woolen embarked as a strong trade candidate leading into the deadline. Jeremy Fowler wrote for ESPN. They've been wanting to move him for a while, one executive said. He doesn't fit what Mike McDonald wants to do. Woolen would be best served going to a team that can utilize his man coverage traits. One potential hurdle to a deal, Seattle's other starting corner, Devon Witherspoon, has had a difficult time staying healthy this season. So just looking at what Woolen can really do for this trade for the Philadelphia Eagles is that the Eagles could give up Keely Ringo and a pick for Reek Woolen. Definitely think that Reek Woolen could have much better success with the Philadelphia Eagles and Vic Fangio's defensive scheme. He's been doing well as of late, especially in that Houston Texans game, so he's only going to get better as the season goes on. The one thing that I've mentioned before, his tackling needs to improve. His tackling is one of the worst in with corners on PFF. So he's got to get better at the tackling. He's definitely going to be with guys like Cooper DeJean, who is a master at tackling, as well as Quinyon Mitchell. So you got to go into that room and really just improve, especially on a Philadelphia Eagles defense that was rated number 1 last year. And just looking at what Vic Fangio could look at for Reek Woolen, this was from Brandon Lee Gowden at Bleeding Green Nation saying, Philly desperately needs a third cornerback to play on the outside across from Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And though Woolen has struggled to match what was a sterling performance as a rookie, he's going to offer more upside than just about anybody the Eagles can acquire at the deadline. And, I definitely think that with Woolen, I've mentioned it before, he's really good against the run. He's really good against the run. He's been doing more upside with his coverage, having a 69.8 rating against the Houston Texans. So he definitely has that upside that the Eagles can work with and mold for this year. It's definitely going to be an upgrade over Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo. Just getting a guy in here that can really just help on the boundary and really help this Eagles defense get to where they were in 2024. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on this channel. Let me know what you think of Michael Carter, Cam Taylor-Britt, and Reek Woolen as the trade targets for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially at the cornerback position. Want to let me know your thoughts, if I can talk. Let me know your thoughts on all three of those guys and what you think they could fit in the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We're going to have more coverage on the Eagles defense and their trade targets moving forward. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's go Birds and fly Eagles fly.